Hi, welcome everybody. I'm Nick Colonna, and with me I got Ken Logan, and we got Stephen Logan as well. And we're at Sports Break. We've been dormant for a long time. It's been a while since we've done this. But hey, we're back now. We're going to preview 2015 NFL action. I'll give you your picks, give us some analysis, and we'll just take it from there, kind of wing it. Should be a nice little night. So without further ado, Steven, what game do we got first?
Well, being Steelers-Patriots has already been played. Packers-Bears, nice early season rivalry game. It's the way you start your schedule, in my opinion.
Absolutely. So for that game, who do we what do we got? Who do we think is going to win this thing? I think it might be unanimous, but we'll see.
I would hope it'd be unanimous.
I'm going to go with the shocker sleeper pick right off the bat. I'm going to go Packers. Sure, no one thought that.
No one saw that coming. Nobody.
No. Yeah, their best receiver's down for the year, which sucks, but Aaron Rodgers is good. The Bears lost half their offense last year, so.
And their defense is terrible the last couple of years. You could put the cheerleaders in, and I'm pretty sure that they could still do work against Chicago's defense. So.
Yeah,
and I saw nothing on the offseason that leads me to believe they've gotten any better.
No, and I don't know the last time the Bears have actually last year they got swept. I think they got swept in 2013 as well. So
it's like 3 years ago was the last time they started off strong with their defense, and then somebody flushed them down the commode, and that was it.
Yeah. And that's all it takes, man. That's all it takes in the NFL, opportunistic stuff. So I, of course, got the Packers as well. I just, Aaron Rodgers, doesn't matter. Jordy Nelson's gone, which, like Steven was saying, sucks. But at the same time, you still got Randall Cobb. You still got Adams over there who's going to be breaking out. Eddie Lacy's still just a beast that cannot be taken down.
And Aaron Rodgers on my fantasy team, so he'll discount those all night long.
So isn't Jordy Nelson.
Not anymore. I dropped him.
So those of you who don't know, we all are in a fantasy league together. Now we do this annually, and Ken had an unfortunate event happen to him during our draft.
Hey, he's a sleeper. Dang it.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. If we make it a keeper league, you'll be set.
Hey, they didn't mean to put out for season. That was a typo. That meant out for preseason. They just couldn't put preseason. Y'all didn't know that. See, I got Jordan on speed dial, so.
Yes, sure. We knew it.
So we'll move on to here. Who we got? Chiefs and Texans?
Chiefs and Texans.
I think that'll be a pretty good game.
Yeah, because you're looking at a tale of two defenses here, I think.
Oh yeah.
Both love to rush the ball. Both love their defensive play. The Chiefs last year were 29th in passing, and the Texans were 24th. So overall offense, the Chiefs were 25th, and the Texans were 17th.
You have to remember though, Charles was hurt for a good portion of the season last year, so
he was.
That does not help things.
Yeah, and now, Arian Foster is obviously he's out for a few weeks. He's looking good, but he might be coming back sooner than a lot of people thought. But for this game, I hate saying it, but I really think the Chiefs are going to do some work. I think they made the right moves in the offseason to really be a threat. So as a Charger fan, it's painful to say, but at the same time, we got to give respect where respect is where it's needed. So I definitely got the Chiefs for that one.
I definitely have to agree. The Texans, every question mark possible defines their offense. You don't know what they're doing at quarterback. They got a good running back, but he's hurt. Their receivers are a mess. And the Chiefs have just, with Andy Reid, have got progressively better every year. I just don't see the Texans as a legitimate competitive team. Not for another couple years, I don't think. So I think the Chiefs, even though it's in Houston, I think the Chiefs might actually walk away with this.
Well, I'm going to be the odd man out. I got Texans on this one. Looking at the stats from last year, Overall standings, they were the same at 9-7, but yet Texans seem to score a little bit more, which in a game of football, that's all that really matters. So looking at the points scored by the team, the Houston Texans scored 372, and Kansas City only scored 353. And again, Texans let up a little bit more, but I mean nothing too crazy. It was a close one for me, but I like the Texans defense, even though they're in my conference, and I hate that. But I think they're going to be pretty competitive this year because they want that title. So I got Texans on this one.
Yeah, and I think the big thing with the Texans too is they're progressively going up, but they need to figure out that quarterback. I mean, Brian Hoyer is going to be the guy for now, but there's no telling how effective he's going to be going forward. If he can stay solid, that's all they need. They just need someone solid. But moving on, we got a real thrilling game coming up.
Barn will keep you up at night. Look out.
Yeah, this is the good old Cleveland Browns and the New York Jets.
The best Week 1 matchup yet.
It's going to be thrilling. Now, I know I get a lot of crap for this, but I think the Browns steadily make good moves, but I don't know what happens during the season. I feel like their roster and their talent they've got talent, but it just falls flat on its face year after year. Especially the last couple of years. They've got pieces there. They just can't put it together.
You're looking at a team last year that midway through the season, really all the way up to Week 10, we were talking about a division in the AFC North that could legitimately have 4 10-win teams in it. And the Browns, they're the Browns. It's what they do. They suck professionally. They find ways to screw themselves out of wins all year. I mean, Week 1 they lost to Pittsburgh because they let themselves get down like 30-0. Had a hell of a comeback, came short, but it's just every year. They just don't stick with anybody on their coaching staff or the offense, and every year the Browns manage to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and say, amazingly enough, it's almost painful to say, the Jets I'm going because they're a more stable franchise. That is not a load of confidence given to the Jets.
Now, there's something about the Jets that we need to really think of, and that's that defensive line. It's going to be, I think, one of the best in the NFL.
Oh, I agree.
They just drafted Leonard Williams, and they already have Wilkerson over there. And who's the other guy on the other side of Wilkerson? I can't. The name's escaping me. But you know that they got Revis back. Yeah, please. They got Revis back. They just that defense right now for the Jets. It's always been a strong suit, and I think it continues. However,
as a tackle.
Yeah. Or an end.
Let's see. Stephen Bowen.
Probably Harrison, the nose tackle, is who you're talking about.
Let me see.
Damon Harrison.
Yeah, because Williams and Wilkerson are the ends, the 2 ends they got.
Yeah,
Wilkerson and Williams, yeah.
Yeah, and I just think that the Jets' defensive line just looks fantastic right now. And they got Todd Bowles, who is one of my favorite defensive coordinators in the league. He did really good things in Arizona, and now he's the head coach over there. And I really like what the Jets have done, and their defense looks really, really good. The Browns are the Browns, and which I have to entertain the question. Are you guys believers in Johnny Manziel? Do you think he'll pull it together, or do you think he's just going to be terrible?
I think he was overhyped from the beginning. He was one of those, let's say, he was really good in college because he could make a lot of plays with his feet. So he was kind of like
Really, any USC quarterback taken in the first round?
He was kind of like a smaller Tim Tebow, and look how his career ended up. I'd assume that Johnny Manziel is going to follow Tim Tebow. except not near as good because at least Tim Tebow could win. Johnny Manziel, he throws interceptions and goes out and have parties on the weekends or whatever he does. I don't know.
And I'll give it to Johnny. Go for it, Steven.
Johnny Manziel, maturity is getting better, I think, but now you can argue the Browns might not have as good of talent around them as they used to. Their running back is just a revolving door of whoever they can get to come in and play for them. You got one of the greatest tackles to ever play the game in Joe Thomas, and they have just done nothing with him. And you lost your tight end last year. You got a receiver who can't stop smoking pot for like 30 seconds to try to get a career.
And he's so talented. Oh, man.
Sounds like a Jaguar problem, Justin Blackmon.
That's a lot of talent just wasted, and I think they lost too much of it last year. I never really liked them, to be honest. I don't care for mobile quarterbacks. I don't think the rare ones, Russell Wilson's, work out, but
yeah, but look at Russell Wilson's size.
Their pocket.
Johnny Manziel, he's like a toothpick. Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson's small too.
Yeah,
not as small as Johnny Manziel though.
Yeah, and with Russell, he's definitely like he's in that run first offense. So a lot of they're gonna run, and that's gonna open up that passing game. So he's gonna have nice windows.
They got a real good offensive line though too for Russell Wilson. Chicago is not the same way.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely get to that once we get to that Seahawks game because that's a team. It's a really really good freaking team. So are we pretty much in agreement? Jets?
Yeah, at New York, I gotta go Jets.
Yep, I got Jets.
All right, so we'll move on to this. This is low key, might be a really good game.
It should be a good game, I think.
Yeah. The Colts and the Bills, like, you got a high-powered offense in the Colts. And I mean high-powered, of course. You got Andrew Luck over there doing his thing.
Andrew Luck's a monster. He's got the whole beard thing going on. He's trimmed it up a little bit.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
Everyone watching, all you need is a beard. That's it. You see this? It gives me everything I need. That's all I need in life.
It's the extra power and confidence in your throws. It's a miracle worker. It
helps.
But that Bills defense, it kind of came out of nowhere. They were just an okay team, and then next thing you know, it's just kind of small pickups here and there. They are easily a top 5 defense in the NFL, and the Colts are not a running team. And when you're one-dimensional against a team like the Bills, it makes it easy. Now, they do have Andrew Luck, but it's on the road. And I think the Bills can get an early season upset here. I think they can sneak a win away here against a team that they're probably not as good as just on the offensive side of the ball. But I like their chances at home with their defense and a team that can't run the ball very well. If you can force them to pass, it kind of opens your playbook up a little bit to try to get them, hopefully, to make some mistakes.
Yeah, and there's definitely the pieces for the Bills' offense are they're getting there. LaShawn McCoy is, it's shady. It's shady McCoy. They got Charles Clay in free agency, who, as a Charger fan, Charles Clay kills us every time as a tight end. So he was a beast with the Dolphins. I think he'll continue that. They got Percy Harvin, who's had his troubles, but if he stays healthy and he stays on the field and he stops at the locker room antics, Percy could do good things. Sammy Watkins is only going to get better. The question mark really is Tyrod Taylor. Is he going to be the quarterback that they've been waiting for, the quarterback to bring him to that next level? Because like Steven is saying, their defense is ridiculous. The two Williamses, Mario and Kyle Williams, Jerry Hughes is super solid. I think you got Manny Lawson over there. I mean, they got solid pieces. Corey Graham, Stephen Gilmore. They've definitely got the pieces there to do some damage.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with y'all. I just think that Andrew Luck is going to. I mean, he always tends to pull it out. I think they might have a little bit more power on the offense than what Buffalo's got on the defense. I mean, the only problem is they don't. I mean, look at the stats. They really don't get to the back a lot. So, trying to rush the quarterback, which is what you want to do with somebody like Andrew Luck, put him under pressure. I mean, you don't really see a whole lot of that in the defense, which they'll get there, I think. But starting off the opening of the game, open season, I'm going to have to go with Indy on this one.
And I can't blame you because Indianapolis did add some good pieces. They're a little older, Andre Johnson and Frank Gore, older guys, of course, but at the same time, they're still talented, and I think Andrew Luck only enhances their potential. Because who's Andre Johnson had with the Texans? Who are his quarterbacks? Now he has one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league throwing to him, so I think it's going to help him a lot. But I think I'm going to go with Steven with the upset and go with the Bills. That defense, I really, really like that defense looking like right now. I really do. But, I mean, it's definitely – I think that's going to be one of the better games this weekend.
I agree.
Tomorrow, actually.
Yeah,
Football Sunday's tomorrow.
Tomorrow, you're looking at a good offense going against a great defense. I think it'll be a really good game.
So we'll move on. Steven, what we got next?
Next we got Dolphins at Redskins.
Okay. I'm going to go and say Dolphins easy. Like, it's not even close. Not even close. Dolphins done way too much in the offseason. They surrounded Tannehill with weapons. They got Sue in the offseason, who is the most dominant defensive tackle in the league. I got Dolphins all day on this.
I'll agree with you. I'll go Dolphins. Redskins, a dumpster fire from top to bottom. They're a dumpster fire. Their owner doesn't know what their coaches are doing. Their coaches don't know what their players are doing. I think they've moved past Robert Griffin III.
Looking at this, he's probable for Sunday's game opener, according to their website.
Change the sound.
I think they got Kirk Cousins starting. So
they have Kirk Cousins as the starter now. It's just that is a team that has been a mess. They've had a lot of bad, really large contracts that just didn't pan out, and they're still trying to work through it. I mean, the Redskins have really – they had that 1 year, and they've just fallen apart. And I agree. The Dolphins have just done everything right. They've worked through the draft. Other than Mike Wallace, who didn't pan out, they've stayed away from big acquisitions in the free agency. They just get better every year just by a little bit, and I think that's how you build a true contender. I think Tannehill is really underrated as a quarterback. I think he's a lot better than people give him credit for because he's not a superstar quarterback. But I think he is a quarterback that can lead a team deep into the playoffs because he just doesn't make mistakes, and that'll win you a lot more football games than I think people realize.
Yeah, and let me just go through. So the Dolphins right now, offensively this year, you got Tannehill, of course, throwing the ball. Jarvis Landry, Greg Jennings, and Kenny Stills are your receivers.
Stills is great.
Yeah. Jordan Cameron from the Browns, who was tearing it up with the Cleveland Browns, he was doing work. Now he's got Tannehill, who's very reliable for him. The offensive line, I mean, there's that, it looks good. It doesn't look fantastic, but it definitely looks good. Brandon Albert is definitely watching him with the Chiefs. He's always did good things. And Mike Pouncey is a great center in the league. So I really like their offense. And defensively, let me pull this up. Cameron Wake and the Dominican Sue on the same team.
That'll be a little ridiculous.
Is it legal in the NFL to have two guys like that on the same team? Is it legal? I don't know if it is.
Not saying the Patriots.
Yeah. And one of my favorite cornerbacks in the league, not kidding, is Brent Grimes. I love everything about the guy. He's short, but he plays to the ball. He's really aggressive. He doesn't take crap from anybody. He's a great corner. So, yeah. And I really think we're all in agreement with Dolphins winning that one, right?
I agree.
Yeah, Dolphins.
All right. Ken, you take it away for the next game. We got to hear everything about it.
We're going to go with the Jaguars, which is obviously, my team right here. And we're playing Carolina Panthers. Yeah, I'm biased, so I have to say I say Jaguars every week. We play Patriots, and I'm going to say Jaguars just because I'm biased. But in all honesty, we've made a lot of changes this year for the better. Blake Bortles really went, and he did a lot of work this offseason. As soon as the offseason started, he went out and with the quarterback coach out in California. He took many of his wide receivers out there with him, and they just went out and slung the ball through the pigskin around. Just get out there, get some reps, get some practice in. He's worked on his short arm. They worked on short arming his throws a little bit. Watch him in the preseason. He's looked really good. He's poised in the pocket. He's got a lot more time in the pocket, which is a good thing. So he's making a whole lot better decisions. The defense, I think the defense is going to do really good. We had a pretty good defense last year. The only problem was it was on the field too much, and that was due to the lack of confidence on our offense and Blake Bortles throwing too many interceptions. So I think if our defense is off the field and we stay on the field, which looking at the stats from the preseason, which is kind of hard to judge, but from the preseason, I think on third down conversions we were somewhere in like the 80%, which is really, really good, and that's the whole key is to stay on the field. We got a lot of young talent, which we don't have Julius Thomas yet. He will be there week 4, which will be good for us. T.J. Yeldon at running back, I think he's going to be off. He's quick. He's really smart. He can find those holes. And we still got Denard Robinson, even if that doesn't work out, which he is still another solid back.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm a fan of Allen Robinson, and I really like the pickup of Steven Wadzinski for the Jaguars this offseason. I think that was a really smart move. He's a great center. I think he's going to help Bortles grow because he is a veteran. Granted, he was with the Raiders, but if you watch Raiders tape, he is one of the linemen who actually stand out and do good things. And I think he's going to help Bortles grow. And like you're saying, we definitely saw that in the preseason. And also, like you were saying, he did put in a lot of work this offseason to up his game.
Yeah, I think he's going to have a huge turnaround. The only thing that scares me is we still have Luke Joeckel starting left tackle. I don't agree with that. I think probably give him a couple games. He hasn't impressed me this offseason. He hasn't impressed me preseason. He gets beat a lot. He was injured for most of the last year, which I think kind of hurt him. But for him being a bigger guy, he gets thrown to the ground like a rag doll a lot. So I would like to see him put in a little bit more work, and if not, maybe get somebody in at left tackle because, again, it's the offensive line is really what you're looking at to be able to do a lot of work. If you don't have time as a quarterback to make any kind of decisions or let your receivers, even making the routes, then you're not really going to be successful as a offensive football team.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Yeah.
That's my rant. But
it's the Jaguars. You got to, man. Those are your boys.
Yes, sir.
I like the Jaguars. There's just too many red flags for me. The Panthers, I know what I'm getting. I'm getting a solid running back. I'm getting a quarterback who can bowl people over. A couple good receivers, not great. A solid defense with a great pass rush. Jacksonville, this offseason, I had a lot more hype in them. It's just really been bad luck, one thing after the other. They got their tight end, Julius Thomas. He's going to be out for the game. Now, Mercedes Lewis, I think, is still a very good tight end. I think he's very underrated.
I love Mercedes Lewis, man.
But you really want that second threat, and the receivers, they're just young. They need more time, I think, to develop to what they need to be.
Well, we also got Clay Harbor, too, which is another solid
tight end. Their running backs, I dislike any team that does not have a solid staple back, and until I see what he does, I have reservations on Alabama running backs coming into the NFL because they are 50-50. They seem
That's
to
true.
be dominant in college, and it's just like every other one is good or great or terrible coming out. So I'll wait to see a couple weeks. I really like their pick, which is somewhat homer on my part. Fowler Jr. out of Florida, a
Oh, I
star
love
end,
Dante
but
Fowler.
out for the season on the first day of practice. So I think of what
He
he
didn't
did
even
last
get
year.
into the practice, and he's pulling a freaking hamstring and out for the season. I was bummed about that.
I think
You go to our
what
deep.
killed him last year was lack of quarterback pressure. I think it was a great pick on them to pick him. That's who I said they should have picked. They did. Him getting hurt, though, I just don't see enough other moves to get pressure on the quarterback. I think it's going to be a couple years. I just don't, especially with Cam Newton, you need a big, fast, strong guy to get back there and to be able to tackle him. I
Derek Martin comes
don't
back.
see that guy on this team that right now. And missing the offensive weapons they are, I think
How
I
about our secondary guy? You got Paul Posluszny. He's always in and game out, doing good things. You got Devon House doing great things. We picked up Sergio Brown, which I think he's going to do great this year.
Cyprin. Jonathan Cyprin. I love Cyprin.
That dude, he literally all over the field. I think if you go back when you was younger, you watched Dragon Ball Z, I think he's got that instant transmission. That dude is all over the field.
Did we just get a DBZ reference on Sports Break?
We sure did.
Oh,
we sure did.
Well done, sir.
He is all over the field. That dude, he's quick. He's very smart back there in the backfield. And then Demetrius McCray, I mean, he's okay, but I didn't really see a whole lot in the preseason that kind of impressed me with him. But it's kind of hard to tell because you don't really get to see any packages being thrown as far as rush wise or anything like that because they're just basically out there just to play. You don't get to see a whole lot of schemes and all that being developed in the preseason.
So I will. For me, I've got the Panthers for this game, but that's not to discredit the Jaguars because I think the Jaguars are moving up from the cellar. They used to be like down there, ranked 30 to 32 team, but I think they're making moves. They're getting to where they need to be. I really like Dante Fowler, like Steven was saying. I really like Dante Fowler. So next year it's going to be like you guys got 2 first-round picks playing at the same time. I really do like Marquise Lee as well. I don't think he's going to be like crazy good, but I think he's a very solid receiver over there. But
and Adam Burns, he was a good undrafted rookie.
Yeah.
He made some big last year.
You go to the Panthers and you got Cam Newton, you got Greg Olsen, John Stewart, Devin Funchess is over there. I mean, I'm not going to expect much from Teddy Ginn. I'm not expecting much from.
You never do expect.
Yeah, but they lost. You lose your number one receiver to a freak injury, Kelvin Benjamin. You lose that, and it hurts. But I think the Panthers offensively look really good, and I think they're gonna hurt the Jaguars with that. And their defense I think that's a strength. That's a real big strength. I love Charles Johnson. Star Lutulele is fantastic. Luke Kuechly, you can't say enough about the guy. Thomas Davis, if he stays healthy, is always a great guy next to Kuechly. Roman Harper, a leader on the back. And they got I think they have too many pieces for the Jaguars right now. But I think, like Steven was saying, give the Jaguars a year or two, and people are going to be very surprised on what kind of product they put on the field. They're going up. They're definitely going up. They're not where they need to be super competitive against playoff teams, but they're going in the right direction. I think they'll do big things later. But I do have the Panthers for this game.
Well, I will be glad to see you next Saturday with the upset.
I love it. I love the confidence, sir.
I have confidence.
All right.
And some.
All right. So moving on. What's the next game on the slate?
Seattle
at Rams.
Seattle.
So, is this a Seattle all day?
Yeah, if they don't pass at the damn 1 yard line.
No.
There it is.
Those wounds. Old wounds. Now,
That's something I'll never get over. I can only imagine as a coach how bad you feel from that stupid play. Good
now
God.
there's a thing about this game getting me is, don't get me wrong, Seahawks are fantastic. Their biggest need in the offseason was tight end, and who do they get? Jimmy freaking Graham. Like, are you kidding me? Come on, it's not even fair. However, they did trade away their center. They traded away Unger over to the Saints for Graham. Who, Unger does not get enough love in this league, I don't think. And
Offensive
divisional
line.
games, that's true. That's very true. They don't get enough love. And for the Rams, this is it's a division game. And we all know, watching football, division games are definitely the biggest toss-ups. The biggest surprises come for division games because both teams know each other so well. Don't sleep on these guys because Chris Long, Aaron Donald, Michael Brockers, Nick Fairley, Robert Quinn, that's an insane defensive line with depth. They have starters that are on their depth, like second string, who can be starters throughout the entire league. So if those guys can pressure this offensive line and they're missing their leader, Max Unger, I think the Rams can pull up an upset. I really do.
Can I make a bold prediction?
Make the bold prediction, sir.
I think Marshawn Lynch, 180 yards rushing.
Ooh.
Whoa, wait a minute. No.
Hold up.
Take it back.
I hope so. He's my fantasy running back, but
180 yards rushing.
He's going to get his. All right, let me just go down the line of names, okay? And tell me this isn't a Pro Bowl roster. Chris Long, Aaron Donald, Michael Brockers, Nick Fairley, Robert Quinn, Akeem Ayers, James Laurinaitis, Alec Ogletree.
I would agree. Those are all Pro Bowl caliber players.
Those are really, really good. Marshawn Lynch, he's going to get his. He always does. He's going to embarrass somebody. He's going to run someone over. But I don't think he's going to get 180 yards. Ken Logan.
That's high expectations. 180 yards. Now, last year the Rams did beat the Seahawks.
Correct.
They did it on about the most crazy punt return I've ever seen, where everybody ran to one side of the field except for the guy with the ball, and it worked.
That was kind of crazy.
Yeah. My problem with the Rams is, like a lot of other teams, they've got a great defense. I'm a little suspect on the offense. They have a whole lot of athletes that they go out and get every year, and that's great in college. But everybody is an athlete at the NFL level, and I think that hurts them. Every year they've got a receiver. It's been the fastest guy available, and I mean these aren't standout players as far as I can tell. I mean, especially with the rule changes and the way that the return game has basically just been gotten rid of with all the rule changes they made for it. I mean, this roster is not jumping out at me. I mean, Stedman Bailey, Brandon Quick, Kenny Britt, Tavon Austin. I mean, these are not Pro Bowl receivers. Bailey had some good games last year. I think Austin is a return man only. I never liked Kenny Britt. Now, he was down in Tennessee. Not great quarterback situation, but I still don't think he's that great. Nick Foles had one good year, so I really don't know if he's the answer at quarterback.
I am not a Nick Foles fan. I am not a Nick Foles fan.
The running backs when Gurley comes back, because Mason's a good speed back, and I think Gurley will be a good power back. But their offense right now, as it sits going into this week, way too many question marks for me. And the Seahawks might come out flat. I think that's what happened last year when they played each other, but that was like at week 8 or 9 when the season was pretty much taking shape to what it was going to be. It is in St. Louis. I think the defense is too good, though. I don't think they get a lucky special teams play like they did the last time. I think I got to go Rams. I think I got to go Seahawks. I'll agree with Nick that 180 yards on a running back against this defense might be a bit of high praise, maybe not so much. I'd root
Let's
for
see.
it. I love watching solid run games, but I don't see that happening. But I just dislike the Rams' offense.
Yeah, and as much as I do like the Rams defense, I still have to go Seahawks. One big thing, when the Rams get Gurley back, their offense is going to change drastically, I think. But until that happens, I got to go Seahawks. They have the team is too good. There is something I'm keeping an eye on, and that's Cam Chancellor not being around, and I wonder how that's going to affect them. I'm hearing an echo over there.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. You there, Steven? We may have lost Steven.
Sounds like we might. Okay. Well, so we're all Seahawks, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, Seahawks, Tyler Lockett is a beast.
I agree.
And Fred Jackson. I'm telling you right now, if you have room on your fantasy rosters, people, get Fred Jackson and put him on your bench.
Definitely secondary there. I just like Seattle overall. I mean, they're just one of those teams pretty much count on.
Okay, let's see. I think it's Steven. Yeah. Try to mute Steven, see what happens. Sorry about this, everybody. And technical difficulties.
All right, let's
Been a
see that.
year. I hear no echo now.
No.
I feel okay, Steven. If you can hear us, go ahead and disconnect and rejoin, and we'll get you back in. Okay, he's left. He'll come back in. All right. So next game on the slate. I really almost want to go Rams though, but I'm not. I'm going to go Seahawks. I got to quit talking about it. All right. Next game, Cardinals Saints. I like this game. I think this is going to be a fun game to watch because Carson Palmer is healthy again, and yeah. I like what Carson Palmer brings. I like that offense. Guy who he used to be, but Mike Lloyd and John Brown are definitely two really good receivers who are going to be coming up and really kind of just putting the league on notice almost. They went and got Mike Upati from the 49ers, who's a great guard. And, you got John Cooper on the other side of the other guard position. You got Veldheer, who they got at left tackle. So they got the offensive line is set. Carson Palmer's doing his thing. They went and got Chris Johnson. I'm not a huge believer on Chris Johnson anymore. Hopefully he can prove me wrong because he is fun to watch when he's on his A game. But Andre Ellington, I like what he can do as a playmaker. And on their defensive side, Calais Campbell is one of my favorite players to watch just because he's an athletic freak. Him and Patrick Peterson they're fun to watch. Tyrann Mathieu, of course, is always fun to watch. And on the other side of this, you go to the Saints team. They did go ahead and get Unger from the Seahawks that we just talked about, who I really like. However, getting rid of Kenny Stills was a question mark. Getting rid of Jimmy Graham, I kind of get the move, get it long term, but I still they took away a lot of weapons from Drew Brees. Can Drew Brees make this team and this offense do good things? Absolutely. But I still think they took away too many weapons from him. And defensively, Cameron Jordan I really like what Cameron Jordan brings. Jerry's Bird, Kenny Vaccaro are great. It's a good safety duo there. But for me, I'm leaning Cardinals just because I think the Saints have lost too much this offseason, and the Cardinals they're healthy again. Their biggest question mark last year and not making the play or not getting, doing the playoff thing was their quarterback position. Keep Palmer healthy, this team is dangerous, very dangerous. So I'm going to go ahead and go Cardinals.
I'm going to agree with you. I got Cardinals. I think Unger came from Seattle. It's hard to say because it's not like you're playing Madden. You just can't switch players around and expect them to perform the way they do. They got to fit into the scheme of what the team is trying to, uphold. And perfect case in point, Jaguars defense guy got from Seattle. Oh man, what was his name? Right after they won the Super Bowl.
Let's go, Jaguars fan.
Who was it? Oh man, I can't. What was his name? I'm in the mindset of the greats right now. Marcus Stroud, John Henderson, some of the all-time greats.
Go get back to it. What else you want to say about this matchup? Just look it up. Look it up as you go.
I agree with you though. I think that now I'm all rattled here. Let's see here.
It's
I think
okay.
Arizona.
Hey, Steven, what? Are we good, Steven? Are you there? Sound working? Everything working?
I think so, possibly.
Sweet. Yep, everything sounds good on my end.
All right, cool then. I don't like the Cardinals' offense. That was their Achilles heel last year. That seems to be with every NFL team that has a good defense. The Saints have lost stuff. I think Drew Brees is a better quarterback than Carson Palmer. I don't think anybody's going to freak out about that enlightening statement. But I think the Cardinals' offense is just not there. Their defense is another team that I think is probably a top 10 defense in the league. It is in Arizona. I just think the Saints, though, I think they're a better all-around team, even though they lost Jimmy Graham, who was by far their biggest target, and then to let anybody else go on top of that. But I think they're finding themselves in the running game with Ingram, and I think they're just going to get better and better.
Yeah, and I like the C.J. Spiller pickup because you got Ingram who can run you over, and you got Spiller who's going to juke you out. So they definitely got some dynamic running backs now, which is gonna ease the pain of losing Jimmy Graham. You can't really replace a guy like Jimmy Graham, but at the same time, they definitely got good running back core behind Breeze to do good things. One of my craziest things this offseason was when they traded away Kenny Stills to the Dolphins because I thought he had too much talent to get rid of, and they just let him go for, I forget, something small. It wasn't much at all, and it just kind of blew me away. So, but yeah, I mean, I think it's another game. It's going to be, can Drew Brees pick apart this defense? Can Drew Brees do something big against this defense? And I think it's going to be a fun game to watch.
I agree with that. And then I got the name. It's Red Bryant. He now plays.
Oh, Red Bryant.
Yeah. He now St. Louis, I think. I think he's a St. Louis guy now. But I mean, going back to that, he had a good couple of years in Seattle. No, he plays for Buffalo. I'm sorry, Buffalo. He had a couple good years, with Seattle. Gus Bradley became the head coach in Jacksonville, went ahead and brought him over, and he just didn't fit the scheme. He was just one of those players that you'd hope you'd have high hopes for, one of those quick, get in the backfield kind of players, and it just never happened. So it's kind of hard to tell with Unger. I know he's a center, but I think center is one of the most important guys on the offensive line. So
absolutely.
We'll see here. We'll see how he does. I mean, NFL is crazy every single year. You can predict. You bring out all your stats and you could show everything, but until the year starts to progress, you're never really going to know because it's always full of surprises. So we'll see.
Exactly. So I mean, that's what's fun about this. Week 1 is the hardest to predict because you don't know. There's so many offseason acquisitions, losses, free agency, the draft. There's so many things that happen during the offseason that each team changes. You have the core of each team that stays together, but there's always those outside pieces that come in, and you don't know what you're going to get.
You get that missing piece of the puzzle. You got a team that could explode, or you have the one bust, which is the broken piece to the puzzle, and now that team crumbles. So it's really hard to tell how it's going to shape up, like you said. And you're looking at preseason. I mean, how many snaps does a starting quarterback get there in preseason? Throughout the 4 games, what you're looking at, I imagine probably 20 total snaps between.
Yeah.
I guess depends on who you are. Unless you're Detroit and they get to play a whole game, but for the most part, you're only looking at about 20 total snaps. So it's really hard to judge during preseason how it's going to unfold. So that's why week 1 is really exciting to watch, just because everybody lays it on the table at that point.
Yeah. And so, Steven, it goes to you, sir. We all put our picks in. So, Ken, you went with who? Cardinals or Saints?
Yeah, I went with Cardinals.
Cardinals, okay. So Steven, Saints, us 2 Cardinals. And we move on to my game, I guess, huh?
Oh, yeah. Chargers and Detroit.
The Lions coming over to San Diego. And I guess I'll go because I want to read last year for both teams. Lions, 19th offense. Chargers, 18th offense. Lions, number 2 defense. Chargers, number 9 defense. Lions, 12th in passing. Chargers, 10th in passing. Lions, 28th in rushing. The Chargers, 30th in rushing. And I think the same thing is going to happen here. Now, granted, the Lions lost Sue. They lost fairly, but they got Haloti Ngata, who Steven can attest is a great defensive tackle.
We don't talk about him anymore.
But yeah, I love Ngata. I love what he brings. They are without Levy this game, so I think they're lacking on defense over there, and they got Rasheed Mathis, who are the other Logan, Mr. Ken can talk about.
Yeah,
he was a long-time Jaguar.
Long time, good Jaguar. I like him.
I do too. And I don't think that this defense is going to be as dominant, but they're still going to be dominant. Glover Quinn, I think he led the league in interceptions last year, if I'm not mistaken, playing free safety. And Levy's out, which, like I said, is big. Ezekiel Anza is a scary, scary pass rusher. He is very intimidating. He does a lot of big things. But if we're talking Lions football, we're talking offense. We're talking Stafford, Calvin Johnson, Golden Tate, a healthy Calvin Johnson, mind you, who had that high ankle sprain all last year. He's fully healthy this year. Golden Tate said, I don't care. If you're hurt, I got your back. Golden Tate tore it up last year. They got Lance Moore over there, who's very solid in New Orleans. Brandon Pettigrew and Eric Ebron are low-key, a good tight end duo. They added Manny Ramirez from the Broncos at left guard. Riley Reif is over there. They got that offense looks good. And the big thing in preseason this year has been Amir Abdullah and what he did during the preseason. And he looked fantastic. Now, if I go over to my boys, the Chargers, the big acquisition this offseason, there were 2 big ones. The one that everyone knows is Melvin Gordon, who during draft time I wasn't actually a fan of at all. I really wanted Brown from Texas, the defensive tackle. I thought they could find a running back later, which obviously you can. But from what Melvin Gordon, preseason Melvin Gordon didn't do anything. He didn't do anything at all. But during camp, he was learning. But the game is definitely faster than he's anticipating. And just like Steven was saying about Alabama running backs, thinking it can apply for Wisconsin running backs. I am not huge on Melvin Gordon yet, but I am huge on the return of Danny Woodhead, and I do like Brandon Oliver. So I think that 1-2-3 punch is going to be really, really fun to watch. Orlando Franklin is the other big acquisition they got at left guard. As a Charger fan, watching the guard play last year was horrendous. Johnny Troutman and Ryan Hart are just awful. But they got Franklin to plug in. They moved Fluker inside. They got Barksdale from St. Louis, who was a long-time right tackle over there. If the offensive line can gel and kind of mesh together, we're going to have a great offensive line. And I mean great, the top 5 offensive line in this league. And defensive line.
I don't know if it's on your end or what, Nick, but you're cutting out.
More technical difficulties. Week 1, you'll have these.
All right. Yeah, we'll work them out. Let me see here. Tell me if I'm good to go now.
You were good right there.
Yeah.
Okay. So I like I was saying, I love Stevie Johnson. A big poor. But if we move over to the defensive side, I love our linebackers now. I would not say this a year ago, but the big change in linebacking was moving on from our previous linebacker coach. I think he went to the Redskins or something like that. And we went ahead and we got a linebacker coach who has been a staple in the NFL, who has done defensive coordinating jobs, head coaching jobs. Mike Nolan is the Chargers linebacking coach. And I love it because he's brought a fire to these guys. Melvin Ingram and Jerry Atauchu, if they can stay healthy, are going to do good things pass rushing. Melvin Ingram has looked like a maniac on defense during the preseason and through camp. Manti Te'o and Donald Butler, like Manti Te'o during the end of last year looked like a high number 2 pick, like he was supposed to. And Donald Butler was terrible last year. But this camp, there's something, watching him in person in camp, he's quicker, he's faster, he's more decisive, he's more aggressive, and that's what you need. Of course, we got the beard, Mr. Eric Weddle, who probably won't be a Charger at the end of this year, but that's another topic for another time. But he's the leader over there. And one guy that I love on defense more than anybody is Jason Verrett. And I'm telling you right now, he's going to be a shutdown corner this year. The dude has looked phenomenal during this preseason. Same thing with other guys. He was hurt last year, like Calvin Johnson was, and Calvin still did his thing. Jason Verrett was dealing with a torn shoulder from college and then got knocked out for a whole year last year after like 8 games. But now he's fully healthy. Ingram is fully healthy. I love what our defense is looking like. And like Ken said earlier with his Jaguars, I have to go Chargers, but I think it's going to be a 8-type game. I think it's only going to be down to 1 touchdown difference because the teams are so similar in so many ways. It's going to really be up to Brandon Flowers, Jason Verrett going against Calvin Johnson, Golden Tate. Who's going to win that? My guess, Calvin Johnson and Golden Tate are more respected, but I don't think you should sleep on Brandon Flowers and Jason Verrett. And that is my ramble. So, gentlemen, please, before I keep talking, take it away.
I got San Diego as well. Looking at,
Thank you.
And this is going to be my hero for your team, Malcolm Floyd. Looking up stats for him. Not only because I have him on fantasy, but yeah, he's here. Let's see. The last game logs, Arizona, he had four receptions on 6 targets for 50 yards. Then you go against, of course, my team, Jaguars, 3 of 4 for 39 against the Jets, 3 for 3 of 72. So, I mean, he don't drop many ball. You're looking at a very solid receiver to throw to. Detroit this year, I actually got to go to the preseason game where they played the Jaguars, and they really didn't impress me that much. They kept most of their starters in throughout the game, and they were still having problems in the third quarter getting stuff together. I know it's still preseason, but you're talking about first string having problems against the Jaguars' second and third string. I think I don't want to say it's going to be a blowout, but I think San Diego is going to have it by a larger margin than what you're anticipating, Nick. I'd say it's going to be probably about a 10 to 14 point deficit. I just don't see Detroit really doing anything this year. I like some of their players, but I also, by what I've seen so far, I just don't see them connecting and getting in sync like they need to start off the season the way they want to.
Yeah,
so I'm going to have Chargers.
And they had a great defense last year, but they're without Levy this game, and they lost Sue and Fairley in free agency. So it's going to be – we'll see what Nada can do on Detroit's side. But, Steven, my man, what do you got, sir?
I believe I will go. I'll be a homer with the two of you. I'll go Chargers.
You guys are awesome.
Chargers.
I love you guys.
Gates is hurt. Not ideal. They've got a stable of backs, though. I think Melvin Gordon can get it together. I love Haloti Ngata. I love what he did for my team for so many years. But he is replacing arguably two of the best young defensive tackles in the NFL right now. And he's just one guy. His work ethic's there and everything else. I don't think he's good enough to replace two people on the inside. I like Matt Stafford a little more than I like Phillip Rivers. I think, unfortunately, Matt Stafford brought one thing with him from Georgia when he came to the NFL, and that is their undeniable ability to lose 2 to 3 games every year that they should not lose. And I think that's what happens here. It's a game that they should probably win, but they will manage to screw up somehow. And it's just every year it seems to be Detroit's story is there's 2 or 3 games they should have won that they had won and then managed to lose. And this is a game that I see that happening. I don't think it gets that high scoring. It's week 1. You have all the procedural penalties. You drop passes, miscommunications on routes. I don't think we're getting into the 30s. I think it's like mid-20s, somewhere in there, 28-24. But I think the Chargers win at home week 1.
And I want to give everyone a little update. So the Chargers last year, they surprised the Seahawks and beat them at home. And a big factor in that was the heat. Right now, today, just driving around town, I was hitting 97, 98 degrees in the car thermometer. We've had a huge heat wave. I don't know what the on-field heat's going to be tomorrow, but the Chargers are going to wear their all-white jerseys, which if we take Detroit's away.
Well, I know, but they were talking about wearing a light color too, weren't they, for the heat?
I don't know. I think they have to wear blue if the Chargers are wearing white.
Well, they're blue, not dark, but they're a dome team, and that high heat, high humidity can really mess with you. And they're a dome team up north, so it's kind of.
I got a question for you, Sir Nicholas.
What's up, sir?
Is this going to be the last season for San Diego in your current stadium?
Or in San Diego?
Yeah, the Chargers are going to be the LA Chargers. Now, Mystic, because the news around town has been nothing but sad, depressing. There is a chance, there is a glimmer of hope, but it's more than likely looking Rams, Chargers, Inglewood project, getting it done. I don't think the Carson project with the Raiders is going to go through. There's too many hiccups right now that are happening all of a sudden. But the city took too long. We've had 9-10 years to get this together, to get these guys to stay here. But as a guy on the outside looking in, not taking the Charger fan out of me, the San Diego Charger fan out of me, I really, really think it's going to be LA Chargers sooner rather than later. And I hate saying that. I really do.
So what do you think about San Diego pulling through, because it will be the last time they will play that stadium? Do you think they're going to have more of some kind of pride thing going on? You know, let's put it for our fans. You know, they've been loyal for the whole year, so they're going to play a little harder.
I've personally met Antonio Gates and Eric Weddle, and they're great guys, and they love the city. You got to keep in mind, Gates has been here since 2003. Rivers has been there since 2004. They've raised families here. They've lived here forever. So I do think what you're saying, there's a pride thing. Now, when you look at this geographically speaking, LA and San Diego are like here and here, but the cities could not be more different. If you go to LA, it's very high strung. Everyone's kind of go slowing down. Everyone is trying to get ahead. Everyone's trying to go, try to be the best they can be at all times. They don't care who they run over. You go to San Diego, it's the most laid-back city I've ever lived in. I'm a military brat, and I was in the military, so every 3 to 4 years in my entire life, I've moved from city to city to city to city. Brief rundown, here we go. Born in LA, lived in San Diego, went to Mississippi, lived in Goshen, went over back to California to Monterey, went up to Oak Harbor, Washington, went to boot camp in Illinois, went to North Carolina with Logan and the other Marines over there, Semper Fi, and then I came back to San Diego. And the big reason I came back to San Diego because I love it. I love the city, I love the atmosphere, I love being able to drive 10, 15 minutes, go into a beach, take another 10, 15 minutes, and go to some valleys, take a couple hours out of my day. I could go to a mountain, go to a desert. San Diego is very central to a lot of things. So that's why I just love the city. There's nothing else I can say. I was born in LA, and that is a part of me. I have family in LA. My grandpa lived in LA for most of his life. So LA is definitely a big factor in my life, but out of both cities, I love San Diego. So it sucks. Go for it.
Well, that was with the Oakland one. Yeah, Oakland. They was talking about switching conferences, right? Are they figuring this out? Or are we gonna get some kind of timeline going on? What's up?
So with that, yes, the conferences will change, which is another thing I want to talk about a little bit. If I won't take too much time about it, but the Chargers and Raiders that's a hated rivalry. I go to Charger Raider games every year. I always go. I think it's fun. You get so many personal attacks for being a Charger fan, and vice versa. It's great. It's a fantastic time. It's hilarious. But there's with rivalries, they're taking that. If they do this, get the stadium situated, and for some reason the Chargers and Raiders get to the same stadium, they'll switch conferences, and that rivalry will go away. And a part of me, as a Charger fan, I like that rivalry because both fan bases give each other so much crap, but there's definitely a professional rivalry that's there that they're taking away. And what was the second part of your question?
When we find out the timeline. I mean, you're looking. It had to be something in the near future if they're looking at doing all these agreements. If there's been something. I mean, being from San Diego, you probably hear a lot more.
December, I think, is the big dates to look for. December 15th, I want to say. Now, don't quote me on this, but I think it is December 15th, something like that. But that's when the NFL will start talking. Keep in mind, the Chargers got a ton of primetime games at Qualcomm, and I think this might be the conspiracy theorist in me a little bit, but I think there has a lot to do with the NFL wanting to talk about the stadium issues in both cities of Oakland and San Diego. Because every Charger game, guarantee it, every Charger broadcast you're going to hear, the stadium, we don't know what's going to happen with the team, and the stadium is terrible. It's the worst stadium in the league, and et cetera, which is accurate. The stadium sucks really bad. A lot of history, but that thing is falling apart. It needs to go away. But
great issue,
yeah, so it'll. I don't have any hard dates necessarily that I know of, but I think it's the December time frame is when we're going to start hearing a lot more about the LA projects and seeing what the city of San Diego can agree on. If we can get these guys, if we can get something going. The big thing is they're looking at it.
You're breaking up again.
If you guys remember, okay. Petco Park is a great stadium, and there's a lot of there's just a lot of political crap going on. So I guess the short answer to my freaking 10-minute rant, whatever it was, is we'll see. I'm not sure, but it had to Chargers. The LA Chargers will be happening sooner rather than later, as painful as that is to say.
And Oakland's going to London.
I don't know. I don't know about that, but you never know in this day and age, man.
Logan, I'm
But
going to
hey,
tweet it.
let's
That's out.
do it. All right, so if we're moving on, we got the battle of number 1 and number 2 draft picks coming up. We got the Titans with Marcus Mariota going against Jameis Winston and the Buccaneers. Gentlemen, take it away. I've been talking too much.
Worst game of week 1, by far. 2 rookie
Probably,
quarterbacks.
yeah.
It's week 1. The Titans are awful. The Buccaneers are getting better offensively. Lovie Smith's a good coach. I think he's past his prime. I don't think Mike Evans comes back and does what he did last year. Jackson just disappeared last year. Martin had one really good year and has not done a lot. This is going to be one of those really boring penalty turnover filled games. I think both quarterbacks, a lot of running out of the pocket, scrambling around. It's just very unentertaining. I have very little hope. I think the Buccaneers, they got a better offensive skill set than the Titans do. I don't think Jameis Winston is the better quarterback of the two, but I do think he's got better targets to throw to, and it's at home. I think Buccaneers win, but this is not. If you got a game you got to miss, this is probably one I'd circle or highlight and be like, yeah, I can do literally anything else while this is on. Because it's just as fun as 7 interceptions and 3 fumbles with 30 penalties is. It's just nothing that you're going to want to clear a time slot for anytime soon, I don't think. Not with these two teams.
So you got Titans on this?
I got the Buccaneers on this at home, but it's
You got the Bucs? Okay.
no good. Bad times for everybody. For the NFL.
What about you?
I like the comments there. I'm going to clear up my time slot. I got cat poop to pick up or something, but I got the Buccaneers as well. I agree. I think there's going to be a lot of penalties. You're talking about 2 rookie quarterbacks, just miscommunication. You're trying to figure out the rhythm. That's the biggest thing as a rookie coming into the season is figuring out that rhythm. I agree with the interceptions. I imagine between the pair of them, you're probably looking at about 8 or 9. I could only imagine. Probably a couple fumbles. I do think you'll see a lot of them. That tends to be the answer for rookie quarterbacks is they feel that pressure. So instead of stepping into the pocket, they run around the pocket, and then they lose all hope of making any kind of play. But maybe we'll be surprised. Maybe it'll be a better game than what we anticipate, but I do have the Buccaneers on this one.
Yeah, and I think you guys are definitely hitting every nail down. I don't think this game is going to be anything too crazy. It'll be kind of fun to see the 2 draft picks going against each other. That's always a headline. But Altron Werner, for 4 years, I believe, is now a Buccaneer. I think that's going to have an effect. I like the Titans. I like how they picked up Harry Douglas. I think he's very underrated in the league. Let me see here. Bishop Shanky, we'll see if he could do anything offensively. Marcus Mariota, he's got weapons, but it's nothing too. I'm not seeing much. Brian Arakpo is the only name that's sticking out. Him and Michael Griffin. And Arakpo, I don't know if he's going to return to form like he used to be. Buccaneers, I love Gerald McCoy. Levante David is solid. Altron Werner, of course, I just talked about. Major Wright, I like Major Wright a lot. Offensively, I really like. I wouldn't say I really like Mike Evans. Since he could get some chemistry with him, they could be something dangerous going forward. Looks like he's bringing back the old Doug Martin. But overall, I have to go with you guys, Buccaneers over the Titans.
All right.
Okay, next game, I swear, okay, You better pick the right pick on this next game, guys.
So we got Chokeland and we got Cincinnati. Uh, Oakland, undoubtedly one of the worst teams in the NFL.
Yes.
I know a lot of people like to say that my Jaguars are. Oakland hasn't had a good season in God knows how long. They seem
Since 2002.
2002.
Longest Super Bowl drought of any team that's made it.
They've been in a drought longer than we've been in war, which is a terrible thing to say. Oakland, there's never anything good to say about Oakland. Obviously, I'm going with Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati has turned it around a lot. I like Cincinnati. But Oakland, man, they never do anything good. They're always a complete disappointment. I think they won like 2 games last year, and one of them was like a give me, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they played the Jaguars last year.
What's that?
They played the Jaguars last year. They had to give me.
Well, thanks a lot. Yeah, they're just a terrible team overall.
Now, I hate saying this as a Charger fan, but I think Oakland is starting to make the right choices and making good moves. I like Derek Carr a lot. I don't like Latavius Murray. I think he's going to be average at best. But they just signed Aldon Smith, and him and Khalil Mack, both at outside, that scares the crap out of me. But other than that, Oakland sucks really bad. And the Bengals have Jeremy Hill, who broke out last year, Giovanni Bernard, who's a good complimentary back. I'm not a fan of Andy Dalton. I think he's decent, but I don't think he's anything special. AJ Green is one of my favorite receivers to watch, and I got to go Bengals. I really think the Bengals shred the Raiders.
I would like to say that's going to be the first shutout of the week.
Ooh, shutout.
Whoa!
I like going big.
I do not think the Bengals defense is good enough for that, though I believe they have easily one of the best, most overlooked linebackers in the league. I don't think that's a stretch.
It's not necessarily Cincinnati being that good of a defense. It's just Oakland being that bad of an offense.
I think Amari Cooper will surprise people. I think he's what they needed. He's a possession receiver. He's not a deep threat. He goes over the middle and he makes plays. And I definitely think that's what they needed.
Fantastic.
But not enough on the offense. Khalil Mack is a monster, and with Aldon Smith on the other side, that could be problems. If Andy Dalton cannot overthrow A.J. Green, I think they've got a chance. He struggled at that a lot last year. But I think this is a pretty easy game for them, even at Oakland. Oakland is not what you would call a good football team right now. I think they got a little bit to go before they get there, so I think Bengals. I don't think the Raiders score a lot. I do think they score, but I think Bengals, it'll be like it normally is, just missed opportunities. And I think it'll probably sitting around like a 20-7 game. Not very exciting, a lot of missed opportunities, but Raiders got some work to do before they're good again.
I agree. Now, Steven, take this game away because this is another game that I'm actually looking forward to a lot. I think it's going to be a really good game.
Unfortunately, the Ravens are my team. I love the Ravens. I am going to wholeheartedly disagree with you.
Oh!
I do not think we have added enough cornerback depth or skill. I like our offense. I like our defense as a whole. I do not like our corners. I do not think we got good enough on the offseason at the cornerback position. And Peyton Manning is not somebody you want to go up against with third-rate cornerbacks, which is unfortunately what I think we're sitting at right now. He's hard to get to. He's always had a great offensive line. He still does. Suggs Mosley, I think he could be a Ray Lewis 2.0. I'm really hoping so.
I think so. I think so too. I like C.J. Mosley a lot.
But our corners, they scare me. I don't like them, and that offense is very high powered. I think unfortunately this will be, as much as I hate to say it, I think it'll be a blowaway like it was last year when we played them. I do not think we have the coverage people to beat them, and I think at times our offense can kind of get a little one-dimensional, either running the ball right up the middle or trying to take advantage of Joe Flacco's cannon of an arm. I think we got another year where the Ravens will win another 10 games, just miss the playoffs. I think we might be able to sneak in with 10 wins this year, but I just do not like our cornerbacks yet, and I'm very, very, very conservative on how I think they're going to do. This is not a game, maybe in Baltimore, but not in Denver. Not with the cornerback play we've had, especially last year. I know Smith was hurt all year, and that definitely doesn't help. But it's just not a good matchup, I don't think. Unfortunately, try again next week situation. We lost all our offensive starters, basically, receiving the football last year. So we have Steve Smith Sr., and that's it. Marlon Brown, couple games here and there, but it's too many rookies being broken in. I'm hoping our run game stays what it was at the end of last year with Forsett and Telefero, but it's hard to say. Running backs year to year change so much. So I think this is one we're probably going to get mopped up a little bit, as much as I hate to say it.
How do you like Perriman over in Baltimore?
He got hurt, which scares me. That always worries me a little bit. I'm liking our tight ends, though. I love Gilmore and Max Williams. Then again, I love Dennis Pitta, but he couldn't stay healthy. So we'll see. But I think Perriman is a good blend of a speed threat and a guy who can catch the ball and not drop it. I think that'll help us out a lot. I think over the last few years, drop passes has definitely killed us. I think he'll be a little more consistent than Torrey Smith was. But it still leaves the question after Steve Smith Sr. said he's retiring after this year, which means we're going to have to get another receiver next year. Also, like I said, still need cornerbacks. That's still a lot of questions, and Joe Flacco, it's hard to say how consistent he's going to play. I think Perriman was a good pick. I was excited about it because he fell that late in the draft. But it's not enough for me to go and say, okay, yeah, we're back to Super Bowl contention right now. I think we're a playoff team, but I think we're early out. And I do not think this is a game that we're going to come out and represent ourselves very well in.
I agree. You pretty much hit everything on the head. I'll just leave it short and sweet. I got Denver.
The head coach of knowing what the game plan might be coming up. But like you're saying, I think Denver is going to be right. AFC West is probably theirs this year. I think it's going to be Chiefs and Chargers might kind of make some moves to get up there, but I still think this is Denver's division to lose. They have too many weapons. They added Evan Mathis at guard, who's fantastic. A lot of people are saying Manning's arm is going, but you're not taking away his brain. That dude, and he will whatever he had to do to make the game or make the team.
Still getting that connection problem. Yeah.
Von Miller. So, in best see. Okay now? I tried to fix it.
Yeah, a little bit. It's just like you're still cutting out pretty
Big
decent.
problems are
Okay.
there.
Your end or my end?
All right. What I'll do is I'll close. Well, I don't know if I close it out, I might destroy the whole show.
Yeah,
So
you cut it live on your side. So
yeah.
we'll just make these next. We'll make these next ones really quick, and then we'll figure it out.
Here we go. How about that? That might be better. I turned my my camera down in quality, so maybe that'll take away some of the bandwidth. All right. What's the next game on the slate?
Giants at Cowboys. It's the Sunday night primetime game.
Ken, what do you got, sir?
I got Dallas. I got America's team, which I don't know why they are America's team, but you know. And I got to give it to him. There's a lot of hate. I see it on Facebook all the time. There's always memes, bragging on the Cowboys. But I think they got a really good team. They always seem to pull it out. They always seem to put up decent numbers. So I'm gonna have, and I'm not a huge fan of Eli. I think Eli is garbage, but that's something else for another day. And just Tony Romo's got a lot of targets again this year, so I got Dallas on this one.
Steven?
I'm going to agree. I think I got Dallas. Eli Manning is not consistent enough for me. Dallas has, I think, hands down the best offensive line in football right now.
Absolutely.
They did lose a very good running back, but they went and replaced him with several running backs. I'm not excited about any of them, but behind that offensive line, I think they can do enough. The biggest thing I saw they did wrong, I think, was picking up Darren McFadden, he just cannot stay healthy. So I don't like that pick, but they have one of the best receivers in the league in Dez Bryant. Like I said, they're one of the best offensive lines. If Sean Lee can stay healthy, I really like their linebacking core. I think that they can do enough. I know Odell Beckham Jr. is a monster, and if he can get a hand up, he can come down with a catch. But the rest of the offense kind of leaves me wondering who else is going to be there. Defensively, I'm not sold on the Giants. So we'll see what happens. But I'm thinking Cowboys got the advantage at home early season. But it's an NFC East matchup, so it's going to be a good, hard-hitting, high-scoring game. So it'll at least be exciting to watch.
Yeah, and it is a divisional game in which divisional games are always really fun. You're going to get. I help the Giants. I think the Cowboys too much right now. They're on a mission. Break and fix be a world beater.
You're still in that breakup mode. We're hearing about every third word. You there?
Dang. Okay.
Are you